Love it.
All right. Welcome everyone. My name is Kirk Rea, and I'm a co-executive director of a Portland nonprofit called the City Repair Project. We are a placemaking organization, and if you're not familiar with us, most folks know us from seeing street paintings around town, murals directly on the road. We also help with community gardens, earthen buildings, supporting the villages for the houseless, like Right to Dream 2, Dignity Village, the Kenton Women's Village. We are at the tail end of a 10-day event called the Village Building Convergence, where it's an annual event, and normally we would be installing the types of projects that I mentioned, usually about 35 to 50 during this 10-day period. So it's simultaneous barn raising. And while we have these community-built installations during the daytimes, then we normally have evening presentations, workshops, music, food, dance. And of course, with the pandemic, our programming looks a lot different, and for all of our installations, they have been postponed. But we've been able to pivot, and while we normally gather physically for our events and workshops, we've managed to move it to an online platform. Big thanks in part, well, big thanks to practicing master artist Michael Bernard Stevenson Jr., who, once the pandemic occurred, Michael stepped in as an artist in residence and community organizer for our organization, and has helped to curate the majority of the programming that we have now for our Village Building Convergence, which is in, today is day 9. So we've been quite busy this week. And this is also a part of assembly, and I'll let Michael talk more on that. So there's a few different streams of how we're all coming together tonight. And I think with that, I will pass it off to Michael. I should also say that if anyone runs into any tech problems, feel free to, you can privately send me a message through the chat box or send it to the group. And right now we have everyone's audio functions off. So also feel free to use the chat to ask questions, make comments, give love. Just, yeah, feel free, please use it. I think that's all the housekeeping. So I will hand it off to a dear friend, collaborator, and roommate of mine, Michael.
Excellent. Thanks, Kirk. As always, Kirk and City Repair and the Village Building Convergence have been super supportive of this multiple days of programming that I've been working on. And yes, this is the end of Saturday with Assembly, an annual event that's put on by the PSU Art and Social Practice Program. And I will be, well, one of the things I also wanted to say was that, so this is one of the last events that's a part of the Village Building Convergence. Tomorrow evening, there's also going to be a dance party, and before that, an event about natural building. But I have presented about 3 other times with guests each of those evenings, and all of those things have been recorded, including a keynote given by Mark Lakeman, who's the the founder and on the board of the City Repair Project. And City Repair / the Village Building Convergence is in its 20th year. And we're also kind of been reflecting on both 20 years of building community, but also we're going to be working on a time capsule project / prompt. So that will be getting deployed later this evening and is participatory, so get your minds ready for that. But I also wanted to reference that programming because I'm kind of referencing some larger ideas that were in that programming And so we'll gently mention them, but feel free to check out the other programming. But also, this kind of brings it home in a lot of different ways, and I'll kind of dig into that in the presentation. That being said, in Mark Lakeman's presentation, of which I'm not a part of directly, it is this interesting and kind of poetic long arc of the city repair and the village building convergence's history. And it's all about intentionally building community. And so kind of in the wake of everything that's going on right now in the world, it's kind of funny because this event and the village building convergence at large was already planned and scheduled. And the work that I and the Afro Contemporary Art Class have been doing, we've been doing it for the past year. So we've been kind of beelining in this direction for over a year now, and my work has been happening for about greater than the past 5 and 6 years. So I'm going to be kind of contextualizing a little bit of my own past, and then we'll dig into the amazing work that the young people are doing. That being said, I would love to introduce you to some of the folks in the room that have been a part of this project. Paige, would you like to introduce yourself? Paige was working at the Dr. MLK Jr. School and was very integral in helping get the project running. You can just say hi or whatever you'd like to say.
Hi, yeah, I'm a teacher at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, and I feel really privileged to have been able to work with Michael and continue to support the amazing work of the students at our school.
Thanks, Paige. And then I would love to introduce some of the wonderful members of our program. Dana and Carmen, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hello. Hi, my name is Dana, and my name's Carmen.
Love it. And then we can meet our resident rappers, the Elijah twins. Would you?
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Azariah, also known as the King Lion.
King Lion. Love it. Thank you, thank you. And then we have our wonderful, amazing young artists. We're all young artists, but these are some strong visual artists. Gracie and Olivia, would you like to introduce yourselves?
Hello. I'm Gracie. I'm Olivia.
There's going to be a test. Don't mix them up. All right. Thank you. So this is majority of our team. We are currently out Zamaj, who's a prominent member of the class, but this is being recorded. So hi, Zamaj. Love it. Everyone wave to Zamaj. Cool. All right, I'm gonna dig in. Do a little share screen action. Uno momento. For anyone who's not full cyborg, boy, is being a cyborg just no fun. All right, do the thing. Go into present mode. There we go. Cool. Great. Loading. So here we are, and this is the almost final event of the kind of curation that I've been doing around building community. And this event specifically is building community through cultural organizing. And as part of kind of the brand, the effort, the intention, the mission, part of the kind of structure of all of the other events was that I was kind of juxtaposing my artist practice and the ways in which it kind of is oriented around building community. And then I had invited other artists who were doing similar work, as well as kind of community organizations that were doing similar work. And so tonight we wanted to feature some of the specifically Black cultural organizing that was going on. And so we paid Nat Turner Project to allow me to present their content, which there's like so many. A, I'm like, I feel a little bit burnt out. B, there's a lot of different things that are floating in the air and I'm gonna be trying to grab them. And a big mood of that is, again, this event was planned pre kind of uprising, and is relevant or more relevant now. And a lot of the decisions we made were on the avenue of hyper relevant before it was as relevant as it was. And so I had reached out to Nat Turner Project and told them I would pay them to present their work. They didn't have to be there. And so they gave me this content and we paid them for their work. And I might say that again, but pay people, especially Black people, for their work. And so Nat Turner Project is a local organization that, well, let me pull up their statement. Uno momento. I should have been slightly more prepared. This is slightly more prepared than this. They have notes in their slideshow, and I'm trying to bring them up on my cellular device. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. Hold on, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Maybe not. Nope, can't get it. I don't have their specific notes, but I do have their mission statement, which is they got a little GIF here. So the Nat Turner Project allows artists of color to go beyond the usual initial expositions inherent in presenting art born of marginalized perspectives to a dominant culture, allowing artists of color freedom to create or express their own language within and without the parameters of racial commodification or designation. Nat Turner Project creates an environment of inclusivity, a communal harbor for artists previously silenced by institutional constraints, and actively provides priority spaces to artists of color, allowing others the privilege of viewership from an outsider role. Nat Turner Project, not just a name. And yeah, I really wish I could get their notes. They're in the slides. Maybe I'll even break the slideshow to get that, so we're seeing it. And so I can tell you all the things that they're doing. So this is Melanie Stevens and Maximiliano. They were the originators of Nat Turner Project, which is kind of born out of them not really feeling like there was space for artists of color. And so they kind of combined and essentially created a space to show artists of color's work. This is from an exhibition at the Paragon Gallery, 2018, Black Apotrope by Kiki Nicole, photo by Mario Gallucci. Another from the Paragon Gallery, also by Kiki Nicole, photo by Mario Gallucci. This is, I think this was the term I was looking for that first slide. Let's get free is their slogan. And this is a book release of content that they've been putting together. Photo of Dubs himself and Maximiliano on Juneteenth Barbecue 2017, St. John's, Portland, C3 Initiative. Avery Gilbert II performing at the Juneteenth Barbecue. Zed Kenzo, a rapper from Milwaukee, performing at the Juneteenth Barbecue. Self, curated by Stephanie Snyder and Samia Bashir. Artist Talk at Reed, part of TBA, which for folks who are not local, TBA is a time-based arts festival at PICA, which is a local arts institution. Gotta be admitting, Kirk. Nat Turner Project, Truth Library at Reed College, Cooley Gallery, both local institutions in Portland. Grad studio bathrooms. I know that they were trying to find exhibition space and use exhibition space that was just unutilized space. And so this is the bathroom at PNCA, I believe, which is another institution in Portland. Bathroom exhibition. Sidoni O'Neill and Manuel Huerto Abreu, which are also both local artists, I believe. And I think this was at PNCA, I believe. Pica TBA, Swallow by Ariella Tai. Bathrooms, I think they did another bathroom exhibition. J. Dodd performance, J. Dodd at Pica, which was probably part of TBA. And so this is the Drinking Gourd Fellowship. And Nat Turner received money from the Precipice Fund, which was also through Pica, and individual from donors. And they made 18, they got applications and had 10 fellowships. And they produced work and had an exhibition at I believe, Ore Gallery. Nat Turner Project has a podcast, We Gonna Be There. Of course, I wish I got a link for that, but it's findable. The website was probably dropped in the chat already for Nat Turner Project. It's also on Spotify. And yeah, these are their spots. I'll throw this in the chat, or I'll put it in the, well, yeah, let's do it. Come on, I'm a cyborg. I'll just do this thing and blah, blah, blah. I'll put the chat button, more chat, send to everyone, boom. So yeah, please support this organization. They have a Patreon, and I didn't embed the video, but it's findable on the internet. When COVID-19 hit, BAPE, the Black Ecology of Portland project that's done in collaboration with Sharita Town, they collaborated with Nat Turner Project, and they offered, I believe it was $200 stipends to Black artists right when COVID hit. So again, cultural organizing, community organizing, these are the organizations in Portland that were like in place to help the Black community before right now, which folks are kind of like looking for institutions to support. Nat Turner Project is a great one. But we are here, and thank you, Nat Turner Project. I was like, our sponsor, but we reverse sponsored them or something. Anyway, I promise I have much better command over this material. So we're here to talk about the Afro Contemporary Art Class. This is a shot of an installation at PSU that was put together by Roz Cruz. And I'm pinging, this was the title slide for building community with and for young people. A lot of my practice is specifically working with, for, and in collaboration around young people. And so there's an hour-long presentation all about that work that we have everyone's email, we'll send you stuff. I wish a lot of the recordings aren't online yet, but will be, this one is. But I'm pinging a lot of ideas from that. I also was a young person once, as we all were. And I think a lot about both my positionality and where I come from and where I'm going and what I'm trying to do with that. And so I've included this slide in most of the presentations I've done for this series. And part of the reason is because a lot of the work that I'm doing is related directly to where I come from and where I feel like I'm going. And when I was getting ready for, I believe, the youth presentation, it was right when all of the action in the streets was taking place. And I was starting to think about some of the origins in my current practice, or where I am or where I'm trying to go. And so this was when the Baltimore uprising was happening. And I remember doing this drawing, thinking about all of the things that were happening in the street were also kind of what young people were being exposed to and seeing about as related to their culture, how that fits into American culture, et cetera. And so I still think of that. I realized even later than that I spent a long time working with this organization after the Baltimore uprising called the 300 Men March. And every Friday they would go out and patrol the streets, because in Baltimore there was a major problem with gang or just random violence. where the communities were suffering from people dying almost every day. And so this organization was meeting and organizing and going out every Friday night to patrol the streets and promote peace. I also spent 5+ months at Standing Rock. These are some of my own photographs from that time. This is an action where a bunch of teepees were being put on top of a hill. And this is actually a line of armored vehicles that's kind of surrounding them. And I and some other protesters and activists, water protectors, were kind of being blocked off. So they were totally surrounding this group to arrest them all. And they arrived with like an intense amount of military force. And so I was thinking about both this, and again, like this was happening before I moved out to Portland. And I was like, what can I be doing? While I was at Standing Rock, it was when Donald Trump was inaugurated. And I was actually at the inauguration one day before the inauguration happened. And then I left heading back to Standing Rock. But one of the reasons why I even went and felt like I needed to be there is I asked one of my confidants at camp what I should do. And I was applying to grad school at the time. And she said that you need to go and be there because people need to know that Standing Rock still stands, that women are sacred and Black people are cool. So I went out with my sign day before, documented, and dropped it on the internet while I was actually on the frozen tundra. But thinking a lot about action. What is the action that can be taken? Instead of just looking at the screen and watching things take place, like how can one participate and be active and make that change? And so all of these experiences were me trying to pursue more closely to where I felt like I was actually engaged in solving the things that I was seeing that were problematic. This will be pinged later by Jordan, but we, as part of one of the active projects, so the placemaking at a distance projects, we dug up a 20-year time capsule that was buried by Mark Lakeman, the founder of City Repair Project. And in that container, we found this 20-year-old jar of seeds. And I think a lot about seeds, and I also think about how working with young people is like seeding or sowing seeds for the future. And so that's what feel like I'm doing, and that's what my intentions are. Also thinking a lot about how I'm spending my time. And so these are my volunteer stickers from Dr. MLK Jr.'s school, which is where I teach the Afro Contemporary Art Class. And yeah, just thinking about spending time doing the things that I want to see change. So the work that I do with young people is under the umbrella Imagination Academy. The kind of ethos of Imagination Academy is thinking about building opportunities for young people to kind of pursue their own kind of imaginative limits or lack of limits, provide a platform for young people to learn new skills, but also to kind of have agency and use that agency to kind of both like meet their imagined, make their imagined reality and then experience the benefits of seeing that come to fruition. And so this project, the Afro Contemporary Art Class at Martin Luther Jr. King's School, is a very crystallized component of that larger umbrella. And so I have a semi-chronological kind of arc planned for you. And so this was like day one. I was meeting with the students to make sure that they were like interested in the class. This is us looking at artist Naeem Brown's artwork. And I showed them some artwork and I was like, we'll be having these kinds of conversations. And I was like, you into it? And they're like, yes. And so this is Amaj, Gracie, and Olivia praying for Naeem Brown to show up maybe digitally. And then here we have Dana also looking at a Naeem Brown scroll. Naeem Brown is an Afrofuturist painter, and he thinks a lot about kind of scrolls and different kinds of ancient forms of telling stories, and then making these super contemporary Afro narratives in that style. And then we have Carmen here looking at a photo of Amenta Abioto, who we later did meet in the class, and we were listening to her song, Wade in the Water, which is a modern retake of the classic. And so the first day, we looked at a bunch of artists that we were going to be thinking about and looking at. This on the screen was not the best shot, but was actually Lisa Jarrett, who's co-founder of KS Mocha, looking at her work. And also we made some agreements and we got our class structure in order. This brilliant drawing by one of the twins of me while I was presenting. And you know what's funny is you see these stars. I was wearing the shirt that Kirk is wearing now. And so they drew me wearing the shirt that I designed. And so the first artist we looked at, the work we delved into was Naeem Brown, and all of these little character drawings were made by Gracie and Olivia, alternately. And so we looked, the way the class functioned, it was very much a class. We would sit in the room that you see us in. I would project stuff on the screen, I'd show it, I'd talk about it. And the structure of the class was to look at the artist's work and then kind of unpack the various themes and histories and concepts and the people that were in the work, and talk about kind of and unfurl the Afro history that was kind of imbued in each of these artworks. So here we have Dana drawing this futuristic power fist pick. And so we would spend days like drawing in response to these artists' work. And so this is Carmen's Black Ant after Naeem Brown's Bearer Roach. Naeem Brown used a lot of chalk on black paper, and so we also use chalk on black paper. This is Naeem Brown. He had an installation called Quilombo Human. And this is Olivia's Blue Space Sky in response to this painting here. You saw me showing this piece to the young folks early on. This is Naeem Brown. This was a post on his Instagram with the comment, America's Most Wanted, and Gracie's interpretation, futuristic shoe. And so while we would meet as a class and get these resources together, and we'd talk about the work, and then we'd draw the work and have different conversations and just be together. Being together and experiencing that space was very much a part of the project as well. And while that was happening, a friend, collaborator, and Portland, 4th generation Black Portlander, Andre Lightsey Walker, was shooting a lot of video. And so in the future, a documentary will come into existence, which is really exciting. That's going to happen at some point, which is also like interesting. At this point, I would be like graduating, but I'm not graduating, but I'm doing this instead. But a lot of these things will be continued to be working on in the future. The next artist that we looked at was Emory Douglas. For those of you who don't know who Emory Douglas is, he was a former Black Panther, and he was both the Minister of Culture and the artistic director and the executive director, or something between those two, and the primary illustrator for the Black Panther publication that would come out, I believe, monthly, if not weekly. And so we kind of started actually with the Black Panthers. And so I dispensed some biscuits. Snack was a major part of the class. And we were talking about both the Black Panthers at large, but studying one of my favorite projects that the Black Panthers did, which was the Black Panther Breakfast Program, which I'll talk about later. But we entered in on that note. And I was preparing this presentation chronologically. This is the volunteer login area at King School. And I was trying to sign in, and the kind of like receipt tape thing for the badges was empty. And the principal happened to be there, Jill, who's a major supporter of this project. And she was like trying to fix it. And she's like, oh, this never happens. I was like, but this is a good sign. There's like a lot of people coming into the school. And so I documented it. I was like, I'm documenting this. Like, this is an important moment. And also, again, one of these larger concepts that I'm trying to ping is that like this project is cool and the people I'm working with are cool, but anyone can be like me. Anyone can go into a school and volunteer their time. Anyone can spend time with young people and help expand their imaginative capacity. So yeah, I documented this. I also have a materials background and think a lot about materials, but this means something to me, and it can mean something to all of you. And hopefully, again, and we're in this like roiling time period, is like everyone should be putting their time towards sowing seeds for young people with young people for the future. Anyway, the next day we continued to study the Black Panthers, and I started to get the students hyped up about doing the Black Panther breakfast program. So I like brought out my pancake setup, and I do a lot of pancakes, as some of you may know or have seen in prior presentations. And right here is a tattoo of pancakes in my grandmother Louise's name. This is my grandmother Louise. She taught me how to make pancakes. I got that kind of tattooed to kind of imbue my history onto my body. I refer to my tattoos as having my coat of arms on my arms. And in last night's lecture about food, I talked a lot about this other tattoo that has its own documentary. Check out the recording. In any case, something that's also kind of really interesting about this is I have my own kind of familial heritage kind of on me, in me, with me. And I'm kind of sharing that with young people. And so pancakes is a lot more than just a food item to me. So as usual, while I was getting my pancake on, we were doing some drawings in response to Emory Douglas as we studied him. And I included all of the drawings because they're amazing. And the Black Panthers and the kind of lore behind them was very much inspiring to us. This is Emory Douglas's We Shall Survive, Without a Doubt, and Olivia's James, Charles, and Kevin. Love it. And this is Zamage's artwork, who's not here at the moment, but he did an interpretation of Vote for Survival, and I love his spin on it, Be Survival. And something that I knew and discovered as I was teaching this class is in an attempt to teach the content, there was a lot of kind of this in response, and what the young people were saying, thinking, and doing was this distillation that was like beautiful and poetic. And so you will also see that as I continue to move through. This is Emory Douglas's All the Power to the People, and Dana's The Newspaper Boy. This one was interesting and still has some unpacking to do, I think, at least for me. This is an Emory Douglas artwork called The Kill List, and this is Gracie's interpretation, Demon President, which, again, ironically, poetically appropriate for the time, current time. This was a collaboration between Emory Douglas and Richard Bell, who is an Aboriginal artist. We Can Be Heroes. This is from an Olympic support of the Black Panther Party. And then this is Israel's interpretation, Olympic Ceremony. Emory Douglas's Revolution in Our Lifetime, and Azariah's Ready to Work, which, man, you can't make it up. I didn't, they did. So good. This is Emory Douglas's Freedom. I think someone might be in the waiting room. And Carmen's The Book of Freedom. So I also taught the young folks to make pancakes. This is Carmen here, flipping a jack, flapping a flip. And we also, one of the things that I was really excited about for this Black Panther breakfast program, and I made some discoveries and I'll talk about them later, but was really excited to think through and actualize reproductions of historic photos that I was finding in related to the Black Panther breakfast program. I was really excited about kind of embodying the things that were kind of these amazing civil rights moments as young people and in this contemporary moment. This is Carmen serving Israel a pancake. And then this is me also serving a pancake, reenacting this epic photo. And we also, oh no, this is Ken Ford. Hold on, I'm changing the slide. Can't have this. He was supposed to be here, but I think he was marching. Ken Ford is, changing it. Don't you worry. There we go. This is historically and contemporarily accurate. There we go. Okay, so Ken Ford is a local Portland Black Panther, and he started in collaboration with a couple other folks, including Percy Hampton, who we also met and will come up later. But yeah, Ken Ford is a local Black Panther, and he started at a church that was on the corner of 9th and Going, which he's done community tours of. And so Kent came to class, and this is an old photo of Kent at the original Black Panther breakfast program. And Kent told us about being a Black Panther. He was asked if he had a gun more than one time, and he asked a bunch of questions, and he answered them, and he taught us about sickle cell anemia, which was cool. And I asked him, I said, Kent, what kind of snack do you want? And he's like, oh, I don't really do snacks. He's like, can't do sugar or gluten or something. No meat, no gluten. And I got him some gluten-free cookies. So this is us enjoying gluten-free cookies, which were delicious, I bet. Also, you folks in the class, remember, you can chime in anytime you like. But I got it. And we also studied artist Hank Willis Thomas. Hank Willis Thomas had an exhibition at the Portland Art Museum and also an exhibition at the King School at the same time as we were studying him and at the same time as the Portland Art Museum was going on. And so we took a field trip on a bus and we went to the museum and we were received by Ella Ray, who's a brilliant cultural worker in town. And she showed us some of the art. This is North America attached to Africa, the North American continent. And we did a little photo op situation. And then she unleashed us in the museum. And so we ran around checking out the different artwork. And Hank Willis Thomas's work is great. And it's also interesting. Specifically, as I was trying to teach the content and think about these different concepts, some of the imagery is very didactic. And so it was helpful in kind of like baiting the eye and then kind of using the content in the work to impart kind of some part of different Afrocentric histories. This is a giant quilt made out of jerseys. We had a moment thinking about this and looking about it and talking about it. This is another artwork. I love, once we learned the Black Power Fist, we just threw it up whenever we could. So this is us responding to a Doors call. This was interesting, an interesting moment, and it's even more interesting because actually Hank Willis Thomas put this piece on his Instagram recently. And just made with the comment young prisoners, which was like a wild because I wasn't really thinking about that when I was there. I was thinking like maybe these kids were like foster kids or something. And I was actually, we were working on a book, which I'll kind of wrap up some of these ideas at the end, but we're working on a book and I was talking to some of the folks in the class, and the boys were like, oh, they're going to get arrested. And I was like, oh, wow, that's so true. And I was not thinking about that in the moment, but here we are kind of reenacting that and just, yeah, looking with these images and let these images sit on us and have us sit on them. So again, we got an epic kind of like photo in the front with the whole big thing. So good, love it, double fists. And then again, we looked at the artwork and made some reproductions. And there's just a lot of really interesting layers in both looking at contemporary art and thinking through that from the gaze of a young person. And I would say that, interestingly, it provides an optimistic lens, more optimistic than I think about it sometimes for myself, but also is like an opportunity for young people to kind of be unpacking a facet of their culture that is not being made super accessible. For instance, the museum itself costs money to enter. So we were actually let into the museum, but art by nature has prohibitive components, which there is also, KS MoCA is a museum at King's School, so there is content that they're being given access to, but this was a major opportunity to really dive deeply into that content. Another image with striking implications. So we had a guest, KS MoCA funded Amenta Abioto coming to the class. And so Amenta joined us. We had a little jam session. And then another boom photo op moment. I should have included, we have captions for some of these images for the book. And I think this one is "Look at us in our swag." The captions were made by the students. So back to the Black Panther Breakfast Program, that was a big deal, and an idea that existed way at the beginning was to do an iteration of the Black Panther Breakfast Program at King's School. And so I found this old sign, an image of an old sign, and we reproduced that sign. This is Dana and Carmen making and painting that sign as sisters together. Israel helped, kind of. And then, oh yeah, this is the slide I made for you, Dana. I'm like, Dana looks just like my grandma when she's smiling. And I was like getting this slide together, and I was like, oh, there it is, right there. See, look, you look just like my grandma. I told you. Anyway. So yeah, we put up the sign in the school, and again, man, I should have really pulled more quotes together. But I remember Dana saying how good it felt to have this sign that she made in the school where all the people she knows and cares about can see it. And we worked together to design this flyer for the event, and then we put it up on the wall. I think the quote for this was, "Power Fist rules. Power Fist rules." So we saw that was pre-existing the fist, and Carmen was like, yeah, we got to put that right there. Boom, there it goes. And KS MoCA also funded our uniforms. So we got our uniforms, and we were posing for some pictures, and we coordinated. So this all happened in February and was a part of the month-long programming at the school in collaboration with Paige and Dominique, parents of Carmen and Dana. So we did the Black Panther Breakfast Program during Black History Month at the school. And so once we got started, we had some folks posted up at the front doors to greet people. Who's the host? Did I mute myself? I did? That's weird. Well, unmuted. I was like, are we being taken over? But no, seems like we're good so far. Yeah, I also researched and printed physical copies of a bunch of the archival photos that I could find from the Black Panther Breakfast Program. And we invited Kent Ford and Percy Hampton, who actually live in the neighborhood that the school is in. And also, like, their houses are a few blocks from the school, and the original location of the Black Panther Breakfast Program, the church at 9th and Going, is also a few blocks from the school. And this is an archival photo of Kent Ford and Percy Hampton here. And these are them as they are today. And this is Zamaj and Makai doing a little kind of interview session with them. And this is Carmen kind of on the edge hanging out. And so one of the things that was, again, really important to me, and again, thinking about reenactment and embodying powerful civil rights movements from the past in the contemporary moment, was to actually document these moments with black and white film, which actually had a really powerful effect that I could or should claim it like I knew, but I didn't know how powerful it would be. And we'll kind of ping that again later. And I included this slide because this is Erika Escalante, who presented about her business last night at the food event. But Erika Escalante is a local business, or Erika Escalante is the owner of a local business called Arrow Coffee, which is right across the street. And I approached them. I was going to approach some local businesses to support this breakfast. And I approached Erika first because I used to go there all the time, and I knew her. I knew the desk attendant, and I asked her, and she's like, oh, whatever. It got us connected. And I said, yeah, I'm doing this event. I really love support. And she's like, what do you need? And I was like, I just want coffee. I would love some coffee. There's going to be parents there and student and parent, adults who are teacher adults. And so I was like, yeah, I would love support with coffee. That'd be really great. And Erika, is so amazing. She said, well, she's like, okay. And then later she was like, I'm going to cater the whole thing. Don't worry about it. And it was almost a panic. I was like, is that going to happen? And then boom, it happened. She showed up with like a fork, all the courses, just shaper dishes, everything. She used some volunteer help to get that going. She put on Instagram, and someone who has food service industry experience showed up at 5 in the morning to start making eggs. So it was really an epic undertaking, and Erika did a really great job supporting us. So shout out to Erika and Arrow Coffee. Everyone go buy a coffee. And her business has been open the entirety of the COVID-19 crisis. She installed a speaker box, and she's been supporting the community. And she's been posting all about different things that are going on right now in correlation to the certain kind of civil rights activism that's happening right now. So Erika's a great ally. Thanks, Erika. And so again, I got a bunch of disposable cameras, and I gave them to the kids, and I talked about how what we are doing is similar to the Black Panther breakfast program that happened originally, and we need to document it and show that, and so we can show people what we're doing. And so all of these photos were taken by someone, myself or them. And these are a bunch of young people at the school and the school community enjoying breakfast, having a good time, giving some thumbs ups. Some young men just loving their plate full of breakfast, smiles. There's not a grimace in this slideshow. This is Dana and Carmen's mother, Dominique, who helped kind of program the event, and their baby sister, Gigi. We had a community conversation was a part of the event. Part of the kind of rationale around that was an interest of my own to bring an adult caliber level of community organizing to this platform that was taking place. But it also mirrors the Black Panther breakfast program in true, because the Black Panther breakfast program was definitely designed to feed young people, which I'm sorry, I should have done a little bit more history on that. It was designed to feed young people, and Kent was always like, we had white kids, we had Asian kids, we had everyone. And so it was supporting the community and community youth in states all around the country. I forget the statistics, but it's in the tens of thousands of young people that they've fed. And that was the Black Panther breakfast program was also kind of the moment where the federal government was like, these guys are up to no good, which is not true, it's a lie. But the current breakfast program that exists is actually the government's attempt to usurp the significance of the Black Panthers doing it. But the breakfast programs were also kind of like a place where communities would gather, and they would also do political organizing at that time. And so wanted to kind of bring that narrative into the event and also kind of make that visible to the young people. And so the students in the class also were there for the community conversation, and it was facilitated by Denise Elijah, who's a mother of the students in the school, and Daryl Grant, who's a professor in town and does a lot of work within the diaspora. And so they facilitated a community conversation. And this was a parent who I might as well call us, when I was putting it together, I thought of us as co-workers. We're actually co-volunteers. Neither of us are paid for our work, but we see each other around the school all the time. And in this moment, she's actually kind of calling other parents to arms and saying, where are you? Like, I'm here all the time. You know, the parents need to kind of be here and supporting the school and supporting the students. And so this was an opportunity for her to be communicating with the parent community. This is a shot of Lisa Jarrett, who's a co-founder of KS Mocha, and Dana here. And this is Dana's quote. I like this photo because I was holding my favorite picture from the original Black Panther breakfast program. And so these are kind of the annotations that are in the book that we're working on, and hopefully will be released over the summer and will be in a public library in Portland near you. The rest of you folks can purchase a copy for your nearest libraries. This is Carmen, and Carmen wrote, I like the photo because I'm wearing the Afro Contemporary Art Class sweater. The sweater means the power fist. I'm flattered that you feel that they're the same. These are the boys. Zamaj said, the 3 boys eating breakfast. I felt awesome. He ate a lot of sausage that day. This is Gracie and Olivia says, I like this photo because me and Gracie in it, and we're eating food with Alexander Penguinton. So this is their penguin friend, Alexander, hanging out at the Black Panther breakfast program. And this is again, that photo of, this is Kent Ford, young dashing man. And he is with some young folks at the Black Panther breakfast program at the church on the corner of 9th and Going. And it was funny because I was showing this image to the young people, and they're like, what's that line? Like, what is that? And it's a photograph that was folded. And so the fact, like this premise of a physical object that's a photograph was kind of foreign. And so this is at the Black Panther breakfast program. This is us reenacting that moment, right? And so this was this magical opportunity to bring the history and bring the past into the present and embody it. A lot of when I'm talking about Imagination Academy is like being really specific about, okay, young people, like we're in this place and it's like, what do you want to do? You have agency. And I do everything I can to kind of enact this idea, this imagined idea that they have. And then they realize it, and they realize that their imagination can be projected into the future and become reality, and that they are agents and creators of that. And the same mechanism with a specific twist where they are embodying the history of their ancestors in this active, live way. They are becoming the Black Panthers ostensibly in the present. Which is kind of both the design of the Afro Contemporary Art Class to kind of become this cultural unit that we can operate together, and also kind of getting the uniforms was part of that idea. And so we also kind of asked people to pose for reenactments. This is a student and their father kind of reenacting this photo almost perfectly. I love it. This was another one, a little bit more comical, maybe even more perfect. I don't know. This was shot by Carmen, this photograph. This is Azariah, and Azariah was reenacting this photo, and he had this to say: I chose this photo because it was a reenactment of a photo that looked pretty cool. I felt like a grown-up. The original photo was cool because the person that was giving the food seemed excited to give the food, but wasn't trying to show it, but still looked excited. And so, Azariah, you did a great job of looking excited, but not showing that you're excited, and shows in your writing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have anything else to say about it? Are you good? That was it?
No.
All right. This is Gracie. She picked this photo because I got to reenact a person in the original photo that I wanted to. He was really kind of bent on this kind of the accuracy of this moment it was tough wrangling the young folks into form, but I like kind of the moments that mirror and the moments that mirror less. I love it. Everyone wanted to be like the grumpy looking person, but someone had to be the handhold rail person. Thanks, Gracie. And so this was, when I was getting ready for the class, I was listening to the book Black Against the Empire, which I did the audiobook version. It was 20 hours of some hardcore history lessons, unfolding, and I think it's like the first in a series of books. I was unpacking kind of the history of the Black Panthers, and they talk about this really pivotal moment where they were shifting away from kind of this more militant affect towards a young people are the future affect. And so they made specific mention to this cover, and I sought it out, and there's a few really good archives that I haven't yet to be able to dig through, but I think even the Portland archive has a pretty extensive Black Panther collection. And also there's a lot of archive stuff in Oakland, in the Oakland School of Art, I believe. And hopefully any of you Oakland folks who are here, shout out to you. I know one of my friends and supporters kind of invited that community. As some of you may or may not know, the Black Panthers got a lot of their major starts in Oakland. Anyway, so this was a very famous cover where they got the kids dressed up and had them lined up, and I had us kind of get in that similar structure. And this is the MLK Junior School right behind us. And thinking about sowing seeds of the future, thinking about young people, thinking about the classroom as a field of dreams. And so this is us in our classroom kind of re-embodying the Black Panther mentality in the classroom there. This is Israel. Israel chose the photo on the left, but I figured I'd sync in all the group shots we had. I picked this one because everyone is there. It's the whole team. It was really cool to be part of a team. I think it's cool because I have never been part of a breakfast program before. I've never been the person that serves the food. It felt amazing. Do you have anything else to add on to that, Israel?
No.
No, you said it all already. I'm just making the space for you, setting you up. And of course, at the end of the breakfast, we did a little, our iconic fist moment, which I think was totally Carmen. We were like, so what do? We just get together, and she said, we gotta do the power fist. And I was like, good idea. So this is us, Percy Hampton, Ken Ford, doing the power fist together. And again, this photo of them as young men, as the Black Panthers, is in the background. And I know if Kent, if you're here, type, let me look through the participants real quick. Kent was supposed to come, and I texted him, and he's like, oh, we're marching on downtown. And I was like, you get it, Kent. But I have everyone muted, so I'm just doing a little browse to see who's in here. It's okay because he's not here. If he was here, he would have given me more flattery than I feel like I deserve. But something that's been really kind of wild is in my conversations with him, he'll just be like, Michael, you're doing really great. And I'm just like, wild. That may be like the only metric of success I need. When a former Black Panther is like, yeah, you're really doing it. I was like, oh, okay, all right, well, I'll take it. Thanks, Kent. And this is something I talk about a lot when talking about Imagination Academy, and anyone who's interested in working with young people, that will be, keep checking back. It's already on the YouTube. I think it's already on YouTube. Yeah, it is. Under the City Repair VBC 2020. If you Google that, you'll find it. I talk a lot about working with young people, and one really important quality of that is representing the work that they're doing to their own community. And so this shot is, I think I had, let me back it up. Let's see, 1 second. Oh no, what happened? Hold on. I don't know what you're seeing, but, hold on. Cyborg, man. Oh.
We can still see the picture.
You can still see the picture? That's good. There we go. I got it back. Thank you. Thanks for your support. So this is, oh, no, oh, hold on. Okay. So, oh, no, I wasn't, I thought I was looking to see if I had the camera around my neck. I think I was trying not to obstruct my logo. In any case, I took a photo of the parents and families and supporters taking photos of us, right? Because we were organizing and we were embodying this symbol of a possible future, an actual present. And not only we were representing that for families, but for young people, seeing themselves being seen is an important component in kind of understanding the work that they're doing. And so I remember later when I was asking everyone what they felt, Carmen was like, I had never talked on a microphone before. And I was like, oh. And so I wanted to kind of like include that image to kind of complete that narrative. This is a moment, no one read it, I'm gonna read it, don't read it, I'm gonna read it. But this is Zamaj's drawing and this is what he said. And I do a dramatic reading to kind of impart the intensity. And this is, I wish Zamaj was here because he's like the strongest voice, even stronger than my own. But this is, I'm using his voice to share all of you to get the impact. Emory Douglas is a great artist. And when I look at his drawings, it reminds me of the Black Panthers because we met 2 of the Black Panthers and it was fun to get to know them when we asked them questions. It was so interesting hearing how they felt. It's like if we asked someone else who wasn't them how they felt, they wouldn't know what to say. And when I met Kent Ford and Percy Hampton, it felt weird to know that there were 2 Black Panthers still here in Oregon. I like the Black Panthers who stand for self-defense, and I know their salute. Crap, it's blocked. And when you talk about the Black Panthers, people say, oh, you mean the Avengers? And I say, no, not that type of Black Panther. And I watched this show, it's called Family Reunion, and it's so awesome. The school in the Family Reunion is called Home of the Black Panthers. And every time I watch the show, I think, oh yeah, I know this clan, and it's named after the Black Panthers. I think it's talking about the Black Panthers from the 1960s. The Black Panthers did something to help us people learn more about the community, how to help the community, that reading is good, and all this stuff we learned in school isn't for nothing, it's for something, and maybe one day we could become the Black Panthers and we could add to the Black Panthers. And I'm just like, man, Zamaj, you said it all. And pretty much all of the kind of lofty conceptual ideas I've been trying to frame is like between what I'm trying to do or think I'm doing and what's happening. This is what Zamaj has to say about his own experience. And that is more powerful than my own words, I have to say. And I included this color photo because I also wanted to, which I have more black and white photos than I have color photos from that event. But I wanted to kind of like accentuate that, again, Imagination Academy, like following the imagination combined with agency and embodying kind of Afro history, but it is contemporary, right? We're like, we are doing it now and it is being seen now and it is being actualized now. And everything that's going on in the world is wild, and I'm sure it'll quiet down sometime. That being said, whatever victories are won in the near future are really only the beginning, because the work is intergenerational, and that is essentially why I started doing the work that I'm doing now. And so I kind of encourage all of you to think about it from that avenue. We're not going to get out of any kind of the situation that we're in immediately, and the investment needs to be thought of as long-term. And so, but also is happening now, right today, in this moment. We're here, but there are people other places doing a lot of that work. And so that is the last slide that I have. I was receiving information from folks, and someone encouraged me to try to give Kent Ford a call. So hold on. I'm going to call Kent Ford and see what happens. Dialing.
You're even more of a cyborg right now.
I know. Double sigh. He might be just marching, that guy. Still ringing. One of the things Kirk and I have been talking about is kind of ongoing programming through the summer.
Please leave your message.
No, Ken. Through the summer, and so it's possible we'll track down Kent one of these days. He's a busy guy, that guy. So we got a couple more things planned for the evening. Thank you for the checking out the presentation component of that. And good to see all you beautiful faces again. Thank you. We have some more surprises for you all. And hopefully I don't forget them. I wish I had a notepad in front of me. But first, we have some of the young folks would like to share some special things with you. Carmen, would you like to kick off the student participatory component?
Yes.
Excellent. Carmen is going to sing a song for us, and whenever you're ready, boy, are we ready to listen.
Okay, so I am ready. Okay, it is called Honor. Here I go. May his favor be upon you and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and the children, and the children. May his favor be upon you, and 1,000 generations, and your family, and your children, and the children, and the children. Amen. 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 Done.
Excellent. Look at all those clapping.
Can't see it. Yeah, I can't see mine.
Love it. Thank you, fans. Thank you, Carmen. So appreciate. Carmen has a special surprise. I think I'm going to close us out with Carmen. So we'll hold on to that. And then we have another musical performance queued up. Are you ready, Hip Hop Twins?
I'm seeing who's on.
So many beautiful words are being shared. Beautiful medicine. Great job. So beautiful. Good singing. Thank you very much. So beautiful. Carmen, great job.
Oh,
I'll make sure to get you a transcript of those. It's like roses all falling on the stage. Elijah Twins, where you at? You guys getting your keyboard ready?
We're ready to work.
Oh, we're ready to work. Okay, well, you're spotlighted, so whenever you're ready, we're ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Rising with the power like you don't even know what I've been through. No, you don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'm through with the 1, 2, and me, you know Capsule. Like YouTube, I'm hard to read, super hard to defeat. will be bittersweet, cause I want so quickly. Far with the crowd every time. Like YouTube, you're being moved with my mind. He is one of the best Pokemon. Just like me, he is a phenomenon. We are both our best at the time of dawn. Unlike you two, I'm quite the underdog. You wanna know some more? Go check out my blog. Do it! Rising with the power like you two. You don't even know what I've been through. You don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'ma come through with the 1, 2, and beat you. No kung fu. Yeah. Like you two, I have a past that gives me motivation. I once felt I loved and became a mutation. I got bullied, hateration, turned it into inspiration. Rose above like you two, I be doing levitation. Thoughts are not no child's play. No, it isn't. Never make the same mistake. I be screwed like Jay. Fight to be my best like every day. From it in more than one way. When I'm on a hunt, sometimes I lose my prey. But just the next day, you know I'm gonna find my way. Hey, hey, hey. Rising with the power like you two. You don't even know what I've been through. You don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'ma come through with the 1, 2, and beat you. No kung fu. Yeah, 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 yeah. You two are similar, but the main thing is we make the world better by helping out all our friends. Be in a community cause we can make amends. We don't want our friends to lose, I want y'all to win. At the end of the day, we are on the same race, running for the same dream. Let's be on the same team, shining like some sunbeams. Rising with the power like you two. You don't even know what I've been through. You don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'ma come through with the 1, 2, and beat you. No kung fu. Yeah. Yeah. Like you two. They don't even know what I've been through. You don't even know what I'm gonna do. I'ma come through with the 1, 2, and beat you. No kung fu. Like you two. Thank you.
All right.
Meet you.
Look at taking that sea of applause. Get that sea of applause.
Good job, you guys.
Way to go, team.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and just so you all know, I had nothing to do with that. I set it up and they knocked it down. I also believe that they have an online concert in 12 days or so. Is that true?
Yeah, it's on June 19th at 7 o'clock, and we're going to do some jazz too. And it's on YouTube Live and Zoom.
These guys, like I said, you plant the seeds and then it grows very largely. It's like I'm a record agent or something. I find the talent, I don't make it. So thank you so much for that. Kirk, also, would you mind if you can dispense co-hosting, try to co-host our friend so he can unmute and share. Yeah, thanks for that. That was amazing. And it was funny because when we were getting ready for this on Friday, I was like, oh, you want to talk? And they were like, I want to sing a song. I was like, okay. And then I only heard the song like moments ago and I was like, all right, let's do it. So cool. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to transition soon, but I'm curious if any of the young folks in the class have anything they'd like to say about being in the class. Also, Isaiah Hassan, I saw you like raising your hand. Are you from the school and or do you have anything to say? I'm going to make you a co-host just in case you want to. Anyway, twins or Dana, Carmen, Israel, Azariah, any last words? Isaiah Hassan is also, you're unmuted. Do you have anything to say or ask? Or
My name
what's your name?
is Hassan.
Hassan. Thanks for being with us. Do you have a question or a comment?
She's Carmen.
Ah.
I'm Carmen and Dana's cousin.
Cool. What did you think of their song?
It's pretty good. I like
Pretty
it.
good. Excellent. Well, thanks for being with us. I'm sure we have many fans, but I'm just going to call you number one, if you'll be okay with that. You cool to be our number one fan?
Yes.
You can think about it. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out. How about you, Dana and Carmen? Anything you'd like to say to this crowd?
I really liked you guys' song. And my mentor out there, her name is Liz, and I just want to say hi.
Hey, Liz.
And yeah. So I have 2 words to say.
Say those words.
Thank you for all that comment from my song. Thank you guys, and that I want to say hi to all my family. So if you're out there, I said hi.
Cool. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Loved your song, Carmen.
Loved it.
Thank you.
Gallery view. Elijah boys, anything last things from you?
Thank you for all the support, and we wanted to say hi to everybody.
These guys, heartthrob.
Can you send the link to everybody who for our thing when we give it to you?
I will push it out. Everyone is eager to learn more. Gracie, Olivia, would you like to share any of your artwork? I'm surprising you. Now's the time. We can take our time to get there and we can do it later, but I'm just checking in to see if you wanted to do a little art. They have like a little mini gallery in their house that we could see possibly. If you're down for it, you can think about it and or kind of announce that interest if it arises. Also, I got a text message from Kent and he's like, I'm at the march. You can't stop that guy. He's just going. And I said, it's okay. And I sent him a picture of the boys doing a performance and he did a hands emoji. He really likes to use emojis, that Kent. You wouldn't think it, but it's true.
That what? He's where?
He's marching for you right now. He's on the streets just for you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, right? Feels nice. Cool. Well, I haven't heard from Gracie or Olivia. Keep on keeping on. At the end, we'll have another little showcase. But right now, we're going to have the most epicest iteration of our time capsule deal. I'd like to introduce you to Jordan Rosenbloom, who we've been collaborating with to try to archive some of the thoughts, feelings, and experiences during the event. Jordan, are you here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome, Jordan. Would you like to introduce yourself and then you can just jet into your scenario?
Just go in. Okay, sounds good. Hi, my name is Jordan Rosenbloom. I am an artist and a designer. I'm also a friend of Michael Stevenson's and a collaborator. And so Kirk, Michael, and myself have been kind of brewing on this project over the last week and a half, kind of coordinated, coming out of the village building Convergence. I see a lot of familiar faces from the King School, which is making me very happy. At any rate, refocus. So we've been working on this project, really thinking about this idea of a time capsule. I had a background, I'd done a project about this a year ago, and when Michael and I were talking about something we might do together, this really popped up. So without much ado, I'm just gonna jump into this presentation. And feel free, if stuff comes up for folks, feel free to say something and I'll stop. All right, here we go. Okay. You all seeing this?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, hang on a sec. Let's try that.
Looks like it stopped.
That's so pesky how that happens, isn't it? Just like life. Okay, here we go.
You got it. You got it.
I got it.
1 second and
All right, you see me?
got you.
Great. Oops, I am wrong. Sorry, 1 more second. Wrong presentation.
You give him the reins and he just drives the
out of
horse
control. This is why you shouldn't have 3 different versions or more of the same presentation up
You got this.
at the same time. I apologize, folks. So close here.
Sorry, I had a little snafu earlier too.
Did you? That makes me feel better.
Yeah, I had to use the slide view version to get the comments because it was someone else's comments, and I was just like, I just got to do it. I want to say their words.
Yep. Okay, I think this one will do.
You got it?
I think this one will do.
Okay.
Loving it. Okay. It's an artist thing. I don't know who wrote that. I just saw someone say it's an artist thing. And I will agree with that.
It might be Bash from Coffee, Arrow Coffee.
Oh, seriously?
I mean, it says Bash. It is.
There you go.
Bash.
All right. We locked in? We seeing this?
We're seeing it.
Time capsules. Time capsules. What is a time capsule? It's a good question. So the first time I ever came across a time capsule, I was in elementary school. I was probably in 4th grade, and they were giving us a new playground. So they're tearing up the basketball grounds and putting some nice new fresh tarmac on it. And we were like, and for some reason the teachers came up with this idea, and I think this happens sometimes. We're like, well, let's put stuff from this time period and this culture, and we'll put it in a container, and we're gonna bury it in the ground. And then at some point in the future, someone's gonna come dig it up. And it was really heady. I was like, what does that mean? What are we putting in the ground? Why are we putting it in the ground? But it really sparked something for me. And so this is one, this is not that one. I found this on the internet, this photo, but it's kind of the same deal, right? Lots of handprints in it, and there's a bunch of stuff in it. And I think there's something really compelling about that, because what these things are, it's like a collection of things that you put in the ground, and then a bunch of years later, someone from the future comes and pulls it back out. There's some really big examples of this, and this kind of thing has been going on for a long time. So one of the really notable examples is in my hometown in New York, and this is in Queens, in Corona, Queens. This time capsule that was built in 1938, and then more stuff was put in it in 1965 by this big corporation called the Westinghouse Electric Corporation, as part of the World's Fair. Kind of nuts. And if you look at this thing, it's this massive concrete slab, right? And as it reads on it, as a record of 20th century civilization to endure for 5,000 years. So the visioning for this project was, we're going to put this in the ground, and 5,000 years later, someone's going to pull it up. 5,000 years is for human beings, a very long time. For the planet, it's like nothing. It's like a speck of sand on the planet. But for us, it's huge amount of time. I mean, like whole civilizations can come and go. It's kind of remarkable, almost outside of how we think about history. And so part of the deal with this one too is that it like is this huge engineered feat, right? This is the grounds of the World Fair. There's those two kind of teardrop buildings, and then this giant shaft. And the actual thing so that's to put it all the way down deep, deep, deep in the earth so it can be preserved. And basically the time capsule itself is in this intense, like bullet-like stainless steel structure that's just dropped way down on a chain and just sits there for 5,000 years. We'll see what happens. And one of the things that was interesting about this to me is that we look at this photo and it's all kind of white men of a certain age. And this is the 1939 version. And it was like, well, I wonder what's going into that. If these are the people making a decision about like what civilization looks like, it's going to have their perspective. It's going to be however they're identifying their civilization and their values. Like, okay. And we actually can look at it. What's been interesting is that they saved, I have a list and it's like, like if it flowed out in a chart, it would be like the length of my entire house of all the things that went in this. There's like thousands of objects they chose, but they're also really funny. There's like a Holy Bible and then like a Barbie doll and then cameras. There's all these different things that are artifacts of their own civilization. And this is also a slightly like scarier note to this also, which is that recently, I believe in the 1990s, in Germany, they discovered this Nazi time capsule. And what they had done is preserved Mein Kampf, which was this Hitler's book, and predominantly what's in their time capsule is these photos of Hitler and the kind of upper echelon, the most powerful members of the Nazi regime. And again, the thinking that went on in terms of, well, what are we putting into the future? And for the Third Reich, for the Nazis, that looked really specific. And it was about maintaining a belief and a structure around leadership. So there's some nicer stuff too. That was like the stuff that's heavier, but it really is going to inform what we're talking about and what we're thinking about tonight. Just time checking myself. All right. There's some more esoteric stuff I won't get really into, but like basically we can open up this idea of a time capsule and it can go all over the place. Like we look at tree rings, right? And every ring that a tree puts on is for a year. And it's telling us all kinds of things about like weather that's happened and big traumatic events and floods and droughts. Kind of amazing. It's nature's time capsule. There are these prehistoric petroglyphs high up on that wall. Another time capsule. People have been doing this forever. Forever. Since any record of human existence, people have been leaving messages to communicate with people into the future. We don't necessarily know what they mean. Genetics is a time capsule, right? Like our parents birthed us, so on and so on. And so it's a way that everything is a time capsule. Life itself functions as a time capsule. The seed is a time capsule, right? It becomes a plant. That has seeds. That becomes a time capsule for the next plant. It's just one giant continuance. So what is the future we imagine? One other aspect of this that is so interesting to me is that when we're doing this, there's like always a future that we're imagining. So if I'm like, okay, I'm going to put something in a time capsule and then in 1,000 years, they're going to pull it out. And I'm like, well, what would I really want people to remember? What would I really want people to know about this time? And when I'm thinking about 1,000 years into the future, I'm thinking about someone taking this out of the ground. Well, what's that future? Like I'm always imagining a future. And it could look like this, which is like, right, this beautiful, utopic, this city on clouds floating on the ocean with all this aquatic life. It could be really grim, like devoid of life and just a crumbled city. And if we think about one versus the other, we're going to make very different kinds of time capsules, right? We're going to be piecing together something for a civilization that looks exactly like we want it to, or a civilization that does not. And based on that, we're going to be like, well, what are we actually putting in this thing? So we're closing in. This is getting us to now.
You're doing it.
We're doing this. Thought I'd edited this shorter. Doesn't look like I did. Here we go. So Mark and Pedro are two of the founders, and we're in the village building convergence world, right? That's been talked about tonight. Can I go light on that?
Yes.
Right, cool.
We very much mentioned the village building, and I talked about Mark Lakeman, the founder. I mentioned that there was a time capsule. I did not say more than that.
Great. So these are two of the original founders, and Kirk can always correct me. And we started talking about this project. So Kirk, Michael, and myself, and then it turned out that the founders of the Village Building Convergence had actually created a structure and built a time capsule. They had put a time capsule inside of this structure 20 years ago, and we had no idea that that had happened. And all of a sudden we were like, what? Are you kidding me? Wait, there's like a time capsule? You already have one? We're talking about doing this project. And he was like, yeah, there's a time capsule. And then all of a sudden one night, with almost no warning, I got a call from Michael, and he's like, Kirk and I are going down to tear open this time capsule right now. And I was like, are you kidding me? Right now? And they were like, right now. And I was like, I'm good, I'm coming. I hung up the phone and I raced to meet them. And in a very unceremonious way, Pedro and Mark were at the home, and lo and behold, bashed at the inside of this beautiful, beautiful structure until they found this time capsule. And here it is, glowing by iPhone light. It's this beautiful and very small little thing. We thought it was going to be like monumental, like the images I was showing you, right? In my mind, it was like this huge thing, but it didn't need to be. Instead, it was this little jar, really, really rusted shut. And inside of it, there was a bunch of seeds and a whole bunch of notes. And the notes were like really touching. Lots of stuff about kind of well wishes for the future, about love, about a desire for peace, about living in community and villages. Here this one says, above all else, live a creative, loving life. Little drawings of villages and of people in community. This one was kind of nice. I'll read one more, which is a cultural continuum is reliant on the exchange of love, food, energy, skills, inspiration, vision, and guidance embraced by Earth. So essentially, the deal is we're going to make a new time capsule. And instead of the kind of versions that we were talking about there, we're making a time capsule born of the values and people who are contributing to them, born of whatever you choose to put in them. And it's a powerful act, because what it does is, right, it allows us to self-determine a future. It imagines ourselves into a future, that a future does exist, we have a part in it and a role in it. The actual thing we create will, in fact, aspects of it are going to go back into the same place where we pulled up that last one in Southeast Portland. So there'll be a new time capsule that's created as the kind of culminating factor from this last week and from tonight, and that will go there. So it'll actually, and the idea is that every 20 years, a new time capsule will be born. So it's a way of reflecting on, well, what's happened in 20 years, right? Some of the younger folks among us will be a lot bigger. Some of the folks who are already big will be a lot, maybe a little shorter. A lot's going to happen in 20 years in some ways, and maybe not that much. And it's a possibility for us to really feel into that. Okay. The other thing that we're doing a little bit differently than a normal time capsule is that the time capsule is not just going to go in the ground, right? Which is like it goes in the ground. Instead, it's going to be living. We're all going to have a version of it. I think, Michael, that's probably a good place. Yeah. to pass that over to you. Is this a place where you want to jump in?
Yeah. Okay. And also, Michelle, those were family recipes and/or Tony Graziano's recipes, so we got you.
Yeah, we had this beautiful. So can I just mention that quickly?
Yeah.
Last night at one of Michael's events, we talked about this within the context of food. So we talked about the recipe as like so inherently a time capsule. With all of this promise, with all of this story about who we are. It was really lovely. And so we talked a lot about that last night. Anyway, shoot, Michael.
Yeah, and so there was this very interesting anecdote that when we were digging up the time capsule and Mark was kind of sifting through these like little magical notes, he was like, oh, like love and light, like this is beautiful, but we needed to be more specific. You know, like and it was like the pandemic has happening and all of the kind of government shortcomings were being elucidated, and it was gently before this kind of like racial dynamic that we're trying to survive and move through and grow from. And so each of the times we deployed this kind of like time capsule mini project, we posed a different question to the groups. I see you, Isaiah, you're about to get a chance to talk to everyone in a little mini group. We're gonna reflect on a prompt to try to gather content from you all to put into this new 20-year iteration of the time capsule. But something else that's, again, we came up with this project and we're continuing to deploy it each evening. We're not aware that a momentous moment in the civil rights movement was going to happen. That being said, pinging Mark's comments of like, wow, I really wish this was more specific. We're thinking to ask, and we'd like folks to have, we're going to do little breakout groups for about 10 minutes or so. Ask you folks to think about goals, right? So they can almost be bulleted goals for equity and inclusion in the next 20 years. And one of the things that we'd like to do with that is, yes, we're going to bury it and dig it up in 20 years. And the other thing that we're going to do is hold on to it and strategize around some of these things. So we're not trying to say like, what do you know you can fix? Because I think while me and Jordan we're doing this project, something that we discovered is like, we don't know anything, and like maybe people don't know the answers either. But one of the important things is to just have the conversation, and then to kind of like will or dream or imagine these things into a reality. And so I have us kind of divvied into little breakout groups. If you want to just stay where you are, you also don't have to join it, but if you leave, you're gonna miss, some people already have, the special surprise that Carmen prepared for everyone. And by God, I already know you're gonna feel bad if you don't get to experience that. So just hang on to the seat of your pants.
Hang on, Michael, can I ask
Yeah.
for one list of clarification?
Yes.
So are we thinking about, so like goals are we imagining what that looks like in 20 years? Like what's possible? Are we dreaming? Like where do you think about this?
I mean, I don't want to be the agent of decision making for individuals. Okay. That being said, kind of again, pinging Mark's sentiment is like, what was the goal that we then in 20 years, when we pull it out, we're like, check, 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 we did this, right? Mm-hmm. So they can, shoot high, but the goal is also not to hope that there's love and light still in the future. The goal is that this equity and inclusion is something that we work together to make and is real, because in 20 years, these young people will be my age, right? And so like, what world can they be living as young folks in their 30s?
Nice, right, and the strategic part is a little bit of like how we got there.
Right.
Nice. Okay.
And so the other thing that's happening is, I'm splitting you all up. What we'd love is someone, if once you get in your little room, if you can agree for someone to be a scribe and just write down the bullets that everyone shares. And I'm gonna keep managing the breakouts to make sure no one ends up alone. And then we'll come back and do a mini report back, and then we'll see Carmen's super excellent, amazing video that she wanted to share with everyone. And if you don't want to go, just stay in the main room. Commenceth. For those of you new to Zoom, you just say, yes, I want to go to the room. And then you go in there and you introduce yourself to your new friends in there.
Michael?
Yes.
I think somebody wants to like ask a question.
Someone, is that Isaiah Hassan?
Yeah.
I see that hand, and we will get to that question at the end and right before your video, okay? But join the rooms if you can or you'd like to. Cool.
The join thing.
So far, no one's alone. Doing a little monitoring. Cool. Yeah, just hang out if you're still here. Got other folks using their brain powers. Do a little timer action. Isaiah, if you want to unmute, you can ask me your question now.
What what kind of art did that guy do? What kind of art does he do?
What kind of art does who do?
Just talking.
You're just talking? Remind me, did you end up asking a question? What was the question?
Never mind.
Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
You just keep thinking about it. Okay, just monitoring these little breakouts, make sure no one's alone. Looks like it's all going well. Cool. For those of you still in this room, thanks for being here and hanging on. Won't be just a little bit more time till everyone gets back with those nuggets of knowledge. I can hear Kirk's computer just chirping away with brilliant discussion. I have to say I am personally glad to not be using my brain right now, so understand for any reason that you might not be desirous of doing that.
Okay, now yeah.
What do you think so far, girls? You think people like it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? Having a good time? How are you feeling?
Good. Good.
Yeah?
Wait, what happened to the video of Carmen?
What
Carmen,
video? Oh, it's going to be the end surprise. Shh, don't tell anyone that it's the last surprise. It's so good. I wanted to save it for last.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who left, they're going to miss it. But I sent it to Salty, and Salty said, Carmen has grown so much in a year. And she said, thank you. So nice seeing them. Amazing work, my friend. Can you see what Salty said?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's cute. I mean, that's nice.
That's what Salty said.
Carmen has grown in a year.
That's your friend in Singapore.
Yeah, why is she not at King's School no more? Well, you know.
Because she's in Singapore.
Oh.
Singapore is all the way across the ocean on an island near Asia. Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah,
I've never heard of that place before.
that's where she is, Singapore. I'll have to try to find, she did these like reports from Singapore, and I'll try to find them for you. But yeah, she's in Singapore right now. Wishing you well. In fact, I also wonder, it might be like super late. I think that's why Salty had to go, because it's like late at night because it's on a different place.
Oh,
on
I
the
like
planet.
this. It's like of Carmen.
Whoa! Don't show anyone. Don't show anyone. It's a secret.
Mhm. I really like that one because
I really like it
Afro
too. Who added the music?
Oh, my mom.
Good idea.
Yeah. Do you like the music?
I love it. It's the most perfect creation.
My mom sent it to YouTube and we have 45 views.
Wow.
Yeah, those cookies from school, well, you know, the one in the class, the gluten-free cookies
Yeah,
are so good.
those were good. I know, you know what's sad? I like have wanted to go to that bakery, but it was right when COVID was happening. Um and I really missed that thing.
Yeah, it was so good. Oh my gosh. And the biscuits.
The biscuits were good too.
Oh, and the
Um, what those your favorite snacks? The cookies and the biscuits?
yeah, and the pancakes.
Cool. I love the pancakes too. I love that you cooked them too.
What's your dog's name again?
Matoska.
Oh, Matoska. Man, I keep on forgetting that, but now I remember. Matoska.
Matoska.
Yeah.
Cool. I told them about 3 more minutes, but having a good time with you all in this big
16
room. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Getting ready for that super epic video.
I'm so excited for you.
I'm so excited. I bet you're not more excited than I am.
Yeah. We have 15 people that are on here.
Yes, and there's a bunch of people still in those rooms. They're going to come back soon.
Okay. Probably like a little. Okay. We've been sitting here for 2 hours.
Oh my goodness. Can you make it to the end?
Maybe, because my goodness is
Just for that video? We're so close.
I know. Okay, that's.
So close. I bet you can do it. A few minutes left. We're almost there. We're going to thank Kirk for leaving out all these snacks for me. He left me chips and peanuts, chocolate. CD Repair has the best hospitality.
One thing, it's like. It was right there, right there. It was really good. It has nuts, cranberries, and vanilla. No, and that's a little oatmeal.
Closing all the rooms now. Folks will start coming back. We'll do a little report back. And then we'll watch this video and we'll say goodbye. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for that. I know it's late. I know it's hard to be sitting in a computer listening to a presentation and then be on-demand content, but we survived it. There's still people here. Our most successful iteration yet, possibly. Welcome back, welcome back. Before I give any unique content, I'll just wait for the rest of the people to finish up their salient conversations. Also, people feel free to leave your videos on so we can see those faces, those working minds, the wheels turning in the mind, face attached to the wheels. Welcome back, welcome back. Cool, everyone. has returned. Thank you for doing our little brainstorm. So yes, someone did ask, whomever, you can just start throwing things in a bulleted list that are there. Jordan, also, you want to throw Epic, and I might even start reading from some of those. Also, Jordan, you want to throw your email in there, or whatever email you want this to be at. You could also take a photograph of your list. You saw those photos of the recipes. That is another way. We're kind of, you can send that to Jordan's email. He just shared it. Also, so anyway, so Jordan's email, jordanrosenbloom@gmail.com. Feel free to send them there as a photograph or as text. Also, if you just send them here, we are going to keep the transcript, so we'll have them. And I can start sifting through, and we'll start sifting through, but since I was not a part of the conversation, will someone, anyone, oh, crud, hold on, I'm gonna let people unmute, since if there's a Zoom bomber, they probably got bored by now. Oh, I'm frozen. Hello? Am I there, Kirk? Are you there? Am I there?
I'm here. Are you there?
I'm here, but everything's frozen for me.
Wow, this is beautiful. There's a lot coming in, which is awesome.
Yeah, I can't see anything, so you take it away, Jordan. I'm frozen. You can read, or you can, I wanted to invite people to say things, but I have to unmute power them.
Oh, do you have to, not able to, okay.
My whole screen is frozen, so it's all frozen.
Let me quickly just see what I can do. I know we're short on time.
I just made it so that folks could, anyone can unmute now.
Yeah,
beautiful. If a couple of people are willing to jump in and throw a couple of things out that they've typed or that is coming up for them, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Yeah. I'll jump in because, you know, I jump in.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. My group was really wonderful, and it seems like a lot of our thoughts and ideas were really aspirational. We were trying to imagine what could be real. One of the most, like, the easiest things to say would be, like, textbooks are actually accurate. Like, we fix the textbooks, and history actually is told according to how it has happened. But we also had really amazing ideas and goals for students that are currently in our school. This, you know, we're talking about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. School here in Northeast Portland primarily, and that all of the students that are here today as part of this are living in a world where they can actualize their dreams and not be so focused on these what it means to have racial equity as the foundational sort of problem that they have to overcome, because that is the legacy that we are giving them, whether we want to believe it or not. And those were just a couple of the things that we talked about in my group. And I can't find my group participants right now to thank them. But we ran out of time and we wanted to make like 35 other bullet points. So yeah, thanks everyone.
Unmute. Yeah, thank you for that, Lisa. And I was going to say that this project will be continuing into the future. So anyone who like wants more, get Gordon's email and send him stuff. But also we're going to distribute the project for other prompts and thoughts and shares and captures. But again, thanks for kicking it off, Lisa. Anyone else? My computer just is frozen, so I'm here now.
Yeah, I'm like overwhelmed by how much stuff has come back in a really lovely way. Someone was about to say something though. Michael, I'm assuming you're trying to do it.
You muted yourself.
Someone else muted me. Are we trying to do a timely wrap at 7:30 now?
If anyone has some final thoughts, timeliness is not important. We're here to take up space, so we're taking it up. Folks can excuse as they need. And also there's that super secret video that Carmen that we're pulling up. But yeah, if there's any last thoughts, again, thanks for including. That's my computer, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what's going on.
Cyborg, yeah. Cyborg.
So yeah, the chat is probably good enough. Thanks all for the shares.
Yeah, sorry I'm not able to process this so quickly. As always, and especially for this, I wish we had more time to unpack this together. But this is beautiful. Michael and I and Kirk will absorb it and share back in a different way through this time capsule.
Yeah, we have all your emails. Young people who are a part of the Afro Contemporary Art Class, do you have any final thoughts to share before we share this super impactful video that will blow everyone's mind?
I liked the chat because I could see everybody I know, and we could talk about our drawings, and we could dress up, and yeah.
Excellent. Love it. Yeah, I do have some last, I'm gonna close it out. The video will be truly last. So I'm gonna rush through some things that are kind of wild and amazing. Just so everyone knows, I won the Dynam Prize, which is a $10,000 art prize for this work with the young people. So this work will be continuing on to the future. Thanks for all the support that I had to do it. Lisa was a signer on that. Lisa was also the one who was speaking a second ago. So yeah, that's really amazing. And one of the things also from ticket sales, we raised
about $600 for the class specifically. Yeah. So for folks that donated for joining us tonight, thank you. Half the proceeds, $600 went to, or is going to the class. And then Southeast Uplift, a wonderful coalition of neighborhoods nonprofit, also granted us funds to ensure that that artists could be paid and the Nat Turner Project could be paid.
Yeah. So money's flying around. One of the things I didn't get a chance to do was make a Patreon. I'm going to be making a Patreon to support this project. And because I have this art prize, I am supported. Essentially, one of the major costs for running the class in the past was just my time. And so now that's supported, and I'll be able to continue to do that work through the next year. But additional funds will be able to go to funding artists to be a part of this class, and other things like getting the book published and stuff like that. So I'm gonna create a way for you to send funding to me and share that out via email. My bad for not getting that done already. Yes, sorry, Kirk.
Because there's nothing going on in the world
yeah,
today.
You know, there's just, if only there was more time. Cool. And then, Kirk, do you want to do closing VBC things? I know you put it in the chat. If you want to just close.
Yeah, just that.
You keep talking. I'm going to check with this other device.
Yeah, we put some links in the chat. DJ Anjali and the Incredible Kid are performing tonight. Distance dance. We have a closing distance dance for both Assembly and the Village Building Convergence tomorrow, thanks to Zeph, as well as a natural building convergence, or I'm sorry, a natural building dialogue tomorrow night for VBC. And someone shared in the chat that there's a whole day of Assembly tomorrow as well.
And I don't have it pulled up, and my computer's frozen. If anyone wants to say something about that, you're welcome to it. Going once?
Yeah. I'll
yep.
I'll jump in real quick and
jump it in.
I put it up in the chat. We had a great day today. Thank you so much. This was wonderful. And yeah, join us tomorrow for Assembly, third day. We'll start off with a reading, the latest issue of Sofa magazine. There's a great new project from KS Mocha that we're going to hear some more about, and lots more. So please, just look it up. There's the link in the chat, and we hope we'll see you.
Thanks, Michelle. And so now we've shared all the news, we've done all the things. Thanks everyone for coming. We will convene gently after this video, but take in this video. Boy, is it amazing. Carmen said, what is this? Share, put in your password, put in your password. Man, being a cyborg is just so hard these days. Sharing the screen. We're not muted. Okay, we're sharing the stuff. So yeah, Carmen was like, I made this video and I want to share it as a surprise. And so here's the surprise video for everyone. Commenceth.
Hey Black girl, you can be who you want to be. Be who you are. You might be a dancer or a ballerina or be a musician or an astronaut, an actress, a police officer. You can be whoever you want to be. A teacher. You can be whoever you want to be. Even if you're a kid, you can pretend that you're a captain on a ship. You can pretend that you're an astronaut, even if you're a kid, okay? You can make like a helmet that's made out of cardboard, okay? Don't give up on your dreams, please. And don't forget that. Don't give up. Try again and again. So never give up on your dreams.
I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I hope they enjoyed it too.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for offering to share that. Again, I did not, I was not the mastermind. I was just the platform provider. Carmen wanted to make that of her own accord with support from Mom and wanted to share that with everyone. That's all we got. But yeah, what an embodiment of the kind of concepts I'm trying to imbue. Carmen, you're getting it. Young folks, you're getting it. Thanks for doing that hard work. Thanks for being in it with me for a year. This whole thing was as much about you, if not more about you than it was me. Couldn't have been done without you. So thanks again. And all the people witnessing the amazing work that they're doing, you are important too. I really felt it was important for the young folks to be a part of this so they could see kind of this outpouring of excitement that there is for the work that they are doing. And the futures that they are kind of ushering in for all of us to enjoy. So again, thanks everyone. That concludes the programming for this evening. Claps. We're clapping. Excellent. We did it. You can even unmute on the clap. You can do like an online clap of a thing. You did it. Yes. You did it. We all did it. Couldn't have done it alone. Couldn't have done it without support. Thanks, everyone. And we're just going to stand here and watch you all log out. But we appreciate from coast to coast everyone coming and checking out our work. The support is means a lot, and we're really looking forward to getting some of these future goals kind of captivated and shared back out. And everyone, the work starts yesterday, so I'll see you on the job site.
Yeah, coast to continent, you, Murakami in Japan, you Murakami.
You came from Japan. Who knows what hour of the day it is?
You, what time is it?
We had a Singaporean.
It's 11:37 a.m.
Yeah. We are on the other side of the world, coast to opposite coast, across the seas. Look, you just knocked Israel over. He fell over. He's like, what do you mean? It's a different space-time continuum.
Well, you, Murakami, you better go eat lunch.
Yes, and breakfast.
Oh, you haven't had breakfast?
Yeah, I woke up at like 7:30 or 8:30, and yeah.
Get on the call. We love it. Thanks.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. I'm really happy I joined. So
appreciate it. And if anyone wants to say anything, we're here to listen.
Yeah.
Folks can say.
Open mic.
Yeah, open mic.
Michael?
Yes.
I was going to tell everyone to please subscribe from our YouTube channel.
Subscribe to the YouTube. Let me link it in the chat. Hold on. Kirk's computer is even more cyborgian than mine.
We also have Mama Nancy here. Good to see you again, Mama Nancy.
Yes, thanks, Mom, for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you have any thoughts, Mom? I'm sure everyone will be excited about the embarrassing things you might say.
You know, it's interesting. I was very happy today. It's with everything that's going on. I can't tell you what my feelings are going to be one day to the next. But I was very happy today, and I think it's because of all the work that you guys are doing. It's made me very hopeful. I mean, there's just so much amazing, positive work going on. And I want to thank you so much for sharing it with us. And those kids are just amazing.
These kids, you amazing kids. Pop stars of the future. They'll be like, I remember when.
Can you guys subscribe to Azariah's blog?
Oh yeah, Azariah has a blog. You can type it in the chat.
Yeah, I have a blog too.
Well, link your blogs in here. I bet people want to see what you're saying.
Okay.
Hey,
I set up the platform. You gotta knock it out of the park.
Carmen, Dana, Azariah, and Israel, I just want to say I love you so much, and we're super proud of you. Thank you for being here.
Yes, yes.
You're welcome.
Did really great work. Thank you so much.
You did a great job. Yes.
Thank you.
I know it's just cool.
You have so many fans.
Yeah.
They said we love you, Lisa, if you're not tracking the chat.
I wrote it. It's Dana.
Lots of thank yous. Some great
Hi.
jobs.
Hi. Yes, hi.
I think it's Dana and Carmen. It's Dana and Carmen.
It's Damon and Carmen. It's Dana and Carmen, but Dominique is her mom. And I'm just saying hi to Dominique too.
Hey.
First, write Israel's first, because we know what that one is for sure.
So Michael,
Yes, this is my godmother, everyone.
the godmother right here.
Godmother.
Very, very impressed. I'm very proud of you. I'm proud of the work that all of you
Can you
guys
write
are
it,
doing.
please? I don't know how to write it.
Just write it in the thing. Like there in the message. You see where it says type message? Type it right in there.
There you go. You got it. You could even copy paste if you figure that out. Anyway, I'm listening. Bye.
So I think I might be needing some help from you
Yeah?
because we're doing a live workspace
Hmm.
in Bradenton in a very desirable neighborhood.
What kind
on
of
the west
desirable?
side of the tracks.
Other side. Got it.
Kind of like Hyattsville.
Okay.
All right. I'll send you, actually, you gave me an inspiration. I might do a little, did you do your thing in PowerPoint?
Google Slides.
Google Slides, okay. I think I'll try to do that and give you an idea of what we're doing.
Great.
It's a live workspace for us, but we want to be inclusive of the community.
I'm about to be a free agent, so.
And I can't figure out, I want to figure out how to do that without insulting the community.
It's hard work.
Michael, I don't know where you think you're going.
I'm not leaving. I'm just,
Not leaving, but he's broadening his
providing
horizons.
remote and embodied support, but I'm in it to win it on this coast for a minute.
And I have to agree with your mom. I've been, today was the first day I was feeling hopeful.
Let the youth lead the way.
I'm trying. After watching everybody march, and I really can't be there. I guess we've done our marching, right, Nancy?
Absolutely.
Ken Ford's holding it down for everyone.
But I'll tell you what, who is? He is? Okay,
Ken Ford,
that's
yeah,
good.
former Black Panther. He's in his 60s.
I couldn't even do, well, I did the women's march. So, I mean, I can't do the Sarasota one, we had rain and I just can't go out in the rain.
Well, I forgot to draw explicit connection to it. I haven't been out yet and is likely to happen sometime, but especially kind of the undue violence that's taking place, I was reflecting, it's like really it feels like my place is to be with the young folks. Mm-hmm. And that is where the most important work for me is. And the movement has many moving parts, but there's a lot of them that are physically safe. And so, yeah, I think there's actually maybe some of the more important work and the more systemic work and the intergenerational work is long form. And that's something you're well suited for.
I guess the thing too that I don't is that, we think sometimes naively, we think, oh, it's solved now and we can all go away. And I don't want anybody to go away. So we got to be in it forever.
In it
and
for life.
Relentless. We can't let this happen again because, we kind of like said, oh, we did it, we're done, and we're not. We're never done.
It's true. I remember her name was Grandma Carol. I met her at Standing Rock, and she was a member, a supporter of the Black Panthers, person of white descent. And she was like really upset because she said, yeah, we did all the stuff and then we thought we did it and we kind of like missed a generation or two.
Right.
And so her in her 70s was hanging out in the frozen tundra of Standing Rock, putting in the work again. So yeah, the work doesn't end, and here we all are, this was the most well-attended event, ready to do that work. And this is really just the beginning for me, even though I have kind of a legacy behind me. I'm ready for my most impactful work to be ahead of me. And I think the best work I've done is sitting in this room Also, so everyone knows, the King Lion Life at blogspot.com is Azariah's blog that's online, and then Coolest in Any Language, that is a good name, is Israel's blog at Blogspot. But yeah, watch these young folks. Again, like I said, I'm just really providing the space and providing the platform. I think there's kind of these pedagogical elements to my practice where I allow some form of agency that seems greater and wider than most spaces that young people have access to. But honestly, I'm not coming up with the ideas. I'm just kind of like coddle boarding them into place so they can grow nice and tall on their own.
I'm so happy.
Yeah. What do you got, Carmen?
So I wanted to say to everyone that thank you for making nice comments for my video and my song, which I just want to say who did it. Thank you. And wait, what is Israel's? No, it's like Israel's brothers. What's Azariah's like YouTube user?
Azariah's blog is the King Lion Life.blogspot.com.
So the King Lion. Wait, what?
The King Lion Life.
The King Lion Life.
The King Lion Life.blog, B-L-O-G, spot, S-P-O-T.com. I'll make sure that you get it if you don't have it already.
Okay. Okay. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. Any other final words?
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Have a good night. Goodbye. Good night.
Night.
Thank you so much.
Everyone.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, work being invisible is maybe no work at all. So thanks for witnessing us.
Yes. I don't want to go.
You can linger to the end.
I'm waiting. I'll stay on till the end.
What time
What
is
time
it by you? Yeah.
It's almost 11.
10:47.
10:47.
Vi, it's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a very long time.
I know. This is the way to do it, though, don't